I need to replace my NAS drives. There's not a single on all three of them.
I'm not looking at that.
You should look. You should look.
No.
Spin up time.
Oh, yeah.
Over 8 years, all three of them. Or no.
Yeah.
Two of them are up for 8 years. One of them is up for a little over 6.
I don't want to look at that.
Yeah, so...
I have some other equally old drives that I can put in there for replacements when those go, though. So,
yeah. So an 8 terabyte drive. So I'm on 4s. I'd like to double it.
Makes sense.
I've told the internet this multiple times. I have a superstition about drives. I will absolutely not buy a not power of 2. Like, it's got to be 8 terabyte, 16 terabyte. I can't do 24s or anything. It's got to be 32 is the next terabyte, right? Like,
okay,
it's going to jump like that. It's going to double or we're not doing it. So I'm on a 4.
Well, I mean, you could go more than that. I mean, like a 10 or a 12 would be all right.
But not a power 10 is not a power 2. Doesn't work.
Okay.
Can't have it.
Sure.
No, it's look.
Your OCD's getting you there.
No, it's like a placebo. I was reading that there's a study that like you tell people that it's a placebo and yet it still helps. It still moves the needle like appreciably. So this is the same thing.
Well, I mean, there's probably some sugar in that, so I mean that makes sense.
I don't think I'm totally off base here, but one of the most failed drives of all time is a Seagate 3 terabyte. Now, say what you want about Seagate.
Oh yeah, that's not normal, probably.
Right. They have a spotty track record. We just talked about them on the last live stream, but
we did.
Okay, so that's my weird superstition. It's got to be 8, or if 16 for some reason is on a really crazy fire sale, I'll totally get one of those. Well, 3 of them. I want multiple, at least 2. But yeah, so
I wouldn't be afraid of 10 and 12.
I know you wouldn't because you use Logic and real.
I mean, they're fairly normal. It's a fairly normal size,
right? I am freely admitting this is wholly superstition. It is snake oil, as far as the differences are actually concerned, right? But it's Power 2, man. Power 2's magical.
Okay.
Coming up in this episode, HD scores a home run. Mozilla launches into orbit, and stand by while Lemmy stands by. Welcome to Linux User Space. I'm Leo.
And I'm Dan.
HD home runs.
It's out of this park.
I mean, we were good boys this year.
We were.
So that's
we were
what
rewarded.
Yeah, Santa brought us each an HD home run.
He did. Yep. And I think we got the same one even. So I got the two port, the Duo. So it's got 2 tuners for off the air. Free to you, free to everybody. TV, which is great.
Yes. So if you're in an area where you can stick up an antenna, even the crappy little floppy ones, and you can get free over-the-air channels, this is a little box that will allow you can just log directly into the box and then you just watch TV. It does the whole, like here's what's coming up, and you can change the channel, and you can do that 2 at a time for the one that Dan and I have. Yep. They also make another one that's like a higher. There's 2 models that do 4 tuners.
Yep.
And there's like a higher quality 4-tuner one or something.
Yeah, I think it actually has storage built into it, so you can do the DVR stuff.
It's a built-in DVR.
Yeah, think like remember the TiVo days?
Yeah,
this reminds me a lot of that.
Okay, so these HD home runs, meant for an antenna, meant to bring in as many TV channels as you have in your area, and you can log into them directly. But that's not how either of us actually uses them, right?
No, I mean, I will say, though, before we move on too far, the setup was insanely simple.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
you
literally, we plugged them all in, and then you open up the app, and
Boom.
worked.
Yeah. I opened up the web app thing. I don't know if I got an app. I think maybe I did. I don't remember.
I got one for the phone, but like then the other thing is like I've got Roku and the Amazon Fire things in the house, and both of those you just go to the app for the HDHomerun, and as long as you're in the house, it's like great. It works fantastic.
Right, but
it's not the only way I watch this, but it works.
Yeah,
really
so
well. Like I didn't do any setup, didn't tell it to where to go or anything. It just scans the network and there it is.
That's the most amazing part about this thing, right? Is that like it's deadly stupidly easy. I can
see how they're popular.
Yeah, I was very surprised with how little I had to actually do. Plug, done. That was pretty okay. 3 plugs. There were 3 plugs: power plug, antenna plug,
Ethernet,
and then Ethernet plug, and then done. Like
that's it.
That's the setup. Literally the setup.
So because that was so simple, I had to take it a next step.
Oh wait, you complexed it up.
I mean, you did too, I guess.
Oh right, yes. Because and the reason that we complexed it up is because the moment you walk away and are out of range of your Wi-Fi, no longer can you tune in.
yeah.
So we had to take it that next step. And also easy.
Yeah, pretty easy. Yeah, no, definitely. And so, right. So I wanted to watch something, maybe I was at work and I want to watch the noon local news. That's kind of handy.
It's too far for your Wi-Fi. It doesn't go that far.
It doesn't go that far because it's miles away. So enter in, this is where it gets Linuxy and, open source stuff. That's where that comes in.
See, we tied it in. We'll feed you. We'll feed you. Here it is.
Yep. So enter in Tailscale, to get back to my network and my device. And so I went with Jellyfin. So Jellyfin can see my HDHomerun. And you can actually this is where you can actually do recordings and stuff too, and have them stored on your Jellyfin server.
Yes.
So like you can set up your automated things and record your favorite shows so you can watch those back later. And obviously I put Tailscale on there so that, turn on Tailscale and I can get back to my Jellyfin server and I can watch it. So the nice thing is there's a little tick box inside of Jellyfin that says, hey, do you want your HDHomerun to do your transcoding? And I'm like, well, yeah, I don't want Jellyfin to have to, do all the work.
Wait a minute. What?
So it will do the transcoding on the HDHomerun box and just kind of pass that through Jellyfin so that it's like, it's fine just using the CPU stuff. It's cool.
I thought I knew everything. What? I didn't know this bit. This checkbox is in the Jellyfin config.
It is.
Oh my God, I'm gonna have to dig. Oh no. Okay, great. No, that's good.
And so you went a different route, but I mean, maybe it exists over there too. I don't know.
Surely,
it
maybe
probably does.
I hope so.
I mean, if your server is capable of doing the transcoding, I mean that's fine too. I suppose. But
well, it has been. Okay, all right. I'll let you finish, but then
So I've been watching the CPU usage and when I'm streaming and whatnot, and it's not too bad. It's it doesn't go to 100%, so that's cool. I'm fine with that. I don't care if it gets to 60, 70%, whatever.
Yeah, it's not doing anything else anyway.
No, I mean it's using some resources, but whatever. That's fine. That's what it's there for. So it works really, really well, and I watched it for an entire day, or had it on the TV for like an entire day.
Yeah,
it just kept streaming and streaming, and it didn't care. What was really nice when football was, I'm kind of an NFL guy, so like I watch football. So you got 2 different games on at the same time.
Yep.
I want to keep up on the score, so I could put one on my tablet and have one on the TV, and it was kind of great. I could look back and forth at the both of them and watch both games at the same time.
This is how now you just need a second TV. So you need to mount a second TV next to your first TV,
cool.
And then you just have both channels going at the same time. And then you would just but you would also have to like drink twice as many of the drinks at the same time, like, so that because
I don't think I could keep up with that.
Yeah.
I really just mostly wanted to watch the one game, but like keep up on the score on the other game.
Right.
Not really necessarily watch it. I mean, it's sure if there's a commercial on, watch the other one then.
So you need two TV. You got to mute one and then audio
the other one.
Yeah. And it would just feel like a sports bar, and you'd be good to go. Order some wings. They'll never come because you're not at a sports bar, but you could still order them, and maybe.
Yeah, I don't think my wife would like that very much if I ordered.
I have to
anything.
When I order wings at my house, I put them in the air fryer myself. So
it just worked great.
Yes, and so my experience is exactly the same. I'm, however, not using Jellyfin, though it is on Linux, on Ubuntu. We were just talking about this pre-show. I'm on an Ubuntu 20.04 box. I have a short amount of runway before I either have to, A, sign up for Ubuntu Pro, or B, just upgrade, but also upgrade scare me because, I don't know, Windows PTSD or something? I don't know. But anyway, so I'm on Ubuntu running Plex. And it was hilarious because I'm like, okay, cracking my knuckles, getting ready, doing a stretch, opening up the laptop, putting on my hacker hat. And I'm like, here we go.
Yeah.
I'm in. Oh, it's configured. Oh, that's it? Yeah, seriously. You go to live TV and it's like, oh, I see a tuner on the network. And I'm like, okay, that's suspiciously easy. And I click OK and I attach it. And it's like, hey, you want me to download all the channels and what's coming up on all this stuff? And I'm like, yeah, I do. Do that. And it's like, okay, hang on. And then that took a little while. It took maybe like 10, 15 minutes to download all that stuff. And then all of a sudden, now I have live TV and DVR section in Plex. I click on it. All my channels are there. The entire list of all the things that I could possibly watch are there. It's like, hey, you want to record this? And I'm like, maybe, but not right now. I'm scared. I feel like it's going to break if I do too much. This was too easy. It's too easy. If I do too much, it's going to explode. So I'm like, oh, we'll hold off. We'll hold off on the DVR part because I don't even know where it's going to save. Where's it going to save? I don't know.
Right.
Well, so this was the end of December. So this is all of January. I'm just tuning in every now and then. Something comes on TV I want to watch. And again, it's not like a lot of channels. It's like when Wheel of Fortune's on, I'm like, got a must-see TV right here, baby. Spin to win. I'd like to buy a vowel, No. But, so normal TV for about a month, and then just this month, February, actually yesterday, which we're recording on the 5th, so this is the 4th, I record... so you're an NFL guy. You're a football guy.
Mm-hmm.
I have been for the past couple of years. I used to when I was a little kid. I used to watch the WWF wrestling. Well, actually, specifically the WCW.
Yeah. Okay.
WCW, and then there was a rivalry between them and WWF, and then WCW got absorbed, and then the World Wildlife Foundation was like, you can't have the F, and then WWF became WWE, and now, anyway. So they've been through some ups and some downs and some all kinds of crazy stuff, but last year, maybe 2 years ago, started tuning in every now and then, just like, oh, I don't know anybody, that's weird, and then so I'd start tuning in more and more and more. And one thing that I can't get anywhere else, you can't get NXT, which is like the third tier. It's like the C string wrestlers. You can't get that anywhere but on the CW. But luckily,
all right, yeah,
CW is one of the channels I get through this antenna. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay, this is Tuesdays. I'm gonna record it. I'm just gonna see. So I schedule it. Like I don't sit there and wait for it and hit record. I schedule it. And it gives you all these options like, do you want to start a couple of minutes in advance? Do you want to record a little bit after the show just in case it runs long? Or what do you want to do and all this? And I'm like, okay, yeah, cool, very cool, very cool. Click next. And it's like, all right, now, where do you want to save it? And it's like, oh, well, obviously with the rest of my TV shows, cool. So I click that. It creates its own directory, does its own thing, saves it all. I tell Dan pre-show, I'm talking about this and I'm like, I'm always paranoid about something. So I'm like, oh, I bet you it doesn't have the permissions. I bet you something's gonna, whatever. Yeah. And so I go look in, poke everything. Nope, everything looked good.
Worked great.
And then I come back at 9 o'clock and would you look at that? It's right there waiting for me on my up next. And I'm like, everything just work. I can't believe how easy this was. I refused to believe it when I bought it because people on the internet were like, "Oh, it's super easy." I'm like, "Yeah, okay."
Yeah, right.
People that install Linux and use it every day say it's easy, and well, we know how that goes. But no, this truly is. I mean, plug it in, set it, forget it. Couple of check boxes, kind of easy. It's crazy.
Yeah, like you, I had no questions that I'd be able to figure it out, probably. But I was not. I mean, I had no idea how long it would take me to figure it out, right?
Right, but
because,
we're technical folks. Yeah, we will. It doesn't matter what it's going to take. We'll figure it out. That's the kind of people that we are. But like, I have no doubt that I could give this to a friend and just be like, "No, dude, just plug it in. It's fine," and then it would work, and that would actually be true. Like, I've said that about Linux, and it's not true, but I can say that about this, and it actually, seriously, for real, is true.
Yeah, I almost feel like I could hand this to my father-in-law, who's not a tech guy. Like, he drove bus. So, I mean, like, that's not his thing. Exactly. I could have handed this to him and I said, all right, you plug it all in, and then, go to the app on the TV and you'll be done.
Exactly. So
and he would have been like, what? Then I would have been like, yeah, that's it.
Mm-hmm. So I made the mistake a couple years ago of allowing people to watch stuff from my Plex server, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're talking about so they live in a town. There's a bunch of like stuff that interferes with over-the-air signals, so they can't just whack up an antenna up there and it works well. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It depends on the time of day. Depends on what way the wind's blowing. So I double mistake. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I just picked up this HD antenna thing, whatever, and I can check it out from anywhere. And it's like, oh, yeah, where do you do that? I'm like, oh, yeah, it's on Plex. And they're like, oh, yeah, that thing that you shared with me? And I'm like, yeah, that thing.
Yeah,
and they're like, oh, yeah, is that shareable? And I'm like, it is.
Yeah.
So, so me being me, I'm like, yeah, stepdad, totally cool. Have at it, man. Like, no problem. And then I kid you not, the next day I'm in a conversation with my wife's granddad, and we're having the same conversation, the same exact conversation. He lives in the same town, and it goes the exact same way. And I'm like, yeah, yep, And if you were listening closely, we both bought the 2-tuner card.
Yeah, only 2.
That means that only 2 things can be on the TVs at the same time, which means that if one person is remotely streaming a channel and the other person is remotely streaming a channel, that's it.
That's all you got.
That's all you got. So I have within 30 days of setting this thing up. See, this is why I don't talk to people right here.
I'm so glad I don't have any friends.
Yeah. Man, I've outgrown it. I already need the 4 one, the 4 thing. I could just buy another 2, but it costs more. Like, because these are $100 each, right? And the 4 one is $150.
I know. I so thought about it when I bought mine. I'm like, well, it's just a little more. I mean, I could do that, but I'm like, it's just me that's going to watch this.
Exactly, and that's exactly my thought. And I was like,
2
DVR
channels is plenty at the same time. I can't handle more than that.
If I would ever DVR anything, that would take up 1 tuner, and then I would just use the other. If for some reason I'm watching something on the other, spoiler, folks.
4 is better. Do it.
It's already time to upgrade. So do I sell the 2, or just get the 4 and add it? Maybe I wait, right? Like maybe I get the 4 and add it, and then just wait, and then if I never use the 2, then it's cool. But
I'm sure you could resell it. Like, it's so great. I mean, anybody that picks it up is gonna figure it out.
Well, I'd sell it for half price, and then like it would be gone that day. So
sure.
if anybody listening, if you want an HDHomerun, let me know. I'll sell it to you for like $50. That's like half price, right? And it may have collected just a small amount of dust. That's. I have not dropped it on purpose. I haven't dropped it. It would make me feel so bad. That feeling. Anyway, so TV, over-the-air TV, all the time, forever. Yay.
Yep. Linux, Tailscale, Plex, Jellyfin, all to the rescue. Hey, you like looking at our face? I mean, some people do. You can catch it on YouTube. LinuxUserspace.show YouTube, and you're there. And you can subscribe and catch all the videos that we do. It's pretty good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We're also on Tilvids when we do those, history segments of things. We land those over on Tilvids, which
Anything
is
learny.
edutainment. Pretty great.
It's for smart people. And you're pretty smart.
Well, if you're watching this, you are. Or you will be. You can catch that too. And they're a great host. I've been very gracious to supporting our show. And if you like it, really, really like it, you can support us on Patreon. linuxuserspace.show/Patreon. And that'll get you there. And you can, send us $1 or $2 and join our little community over there. Actually, you can join the community for free.
That's right.
And catch the, some of the posts. But, there might be some things you're missing out on, like early access to episodes and high quality audio, all of those great things.
$3 will get you all that.
Yeah, that's only for the patrons. So, and if you pay enough, you can actually come into the studio here with us while we do the show, which is also kind of fun.
So you get all of the pre-show banter, all of the stuff, everything, every bit from the moment we press record to the moment we stop and go to bed. You get all of that stuff in HD. Look at that.
Yeah, you get the worst of us for the most money. It's great.
That is the best selling point. But yeah, and one of the things that I do on YouTube, I don't know if you're a subscriber on YouTube, but if you are, then you know this. So we put out the entire show in its entirety from start to finish, minus the co-producer bits. But that also goes out in segments as well. So it's much more like what you might actually expect on a YouTube type platform. So you get all the stuff out there. If you don't subscribe in podcast land, you can watch it all too. Okay, controversial topic. You ready for this?
I'm ready for this. Some people may not be, though. So,
yeah. Content warning.
The segments are marked here, so you could skip over potentially if that was a thing.
But don't do that. Because
don't do that. It's good. We take it.
We're gonna have ourselves an interesting little discussion about the AI takeover at the end. Not the one that we're experiencing. The one that may happen in the future.
Well, maybe. Well, the one that's not going to take over is this one.
It's
not that smart.
It's
not that smart.
And everybody's already got a bone to pick with Mozilla. Why not throw another bone on the pile? Mozilla comes out. What was it, about a month ago, with this thing called Orbit. And, well, what better way to understand what Orbit is than to ask Orbit, what's Orbit? And Orbit says, Orbit by Mozilla is a new AI-powered Firefox browser extension that offers summarization of web content with a single click. It works directly from the web page or video, providing a side panel with summaries, a chatbot for asking questions about the content, and adjustable settings. Orbit is privacy-friendly, as Mozilla hosts the Mistral 7B large language model in the cloud and doesn't share user data or queries with it.
I mean, that sounds pretty good.
Yeah, that's what Orbit has to say about Orbit. And we didn't, because we weren't technically, are we on the air? I mean, we're on the internet, but,
we're
let's say,
live-ish.
Yeah, live-ish. We're live to the producers, but
we are.
If we were on air, we weren't a month ago when this thing came out. But even if we were, I don't think I would have wanted to talk about it right when it came out. Because
you need some time. Yeah.
Right. This is something that I've heard, just AI in general, I've heard a lot about. I haven't really, dove into much. But once this came out, I decided, okay, fine, let's install it. Let's see what this is all about. Let's see how good it is. And I also installed LM Studio, which is a way to download models off of the internet and then just use them there locally like you would with a ChatGPT or something like that. So I got into just chatting with stuff. And I want to focus on orbit because that's really what this bit's about. And I can't say I dislike it. I want to dislike it, right? Because everybody hates AI right now. It's glorified spell check. It makes mistakes. It tells you to put glue on pizza. It does weird stuff. It'll straight up tell you. It'll make stuff up sometimes, right?
Sometimes, yeah. Depending on which one, yeah.
But specifically, I guess the 7B Mistral 7B has been very decent about what's going on, right? Because you're not. I haven't been chatting with it too much. I do ask it questions in our live stream. I asked it like, what is the origin of cursive and calligraphy? Because Neil was on here. We were talking about writing and just in general, right? Because our live streams always go off the rails. I don't know. We talk about food and calligraphy.
We did, yeah.
All kinds of weird stuff. And it got that stuff right.
It's not a strong suit. I mean, at least for orbit, I don't think that's certainly not the intended purpose. And so it's not necessarily its strong suit, although it does pull it off.
Mm-hmm.
I think where it really shines is obviously, like it says, it's great about summarizing the page you're on. It's great about summarizing the video that you're trying to watch. And so it uses the transcription stuff to summarize videos. So as long as that's pretty good, then so will the summary of the thing.
Yeah.
So the data that it's pulling from is like right there in front of your screen anyway. It's not trying to pull it from somewhere else to come up with the summary.
Yeah, it doesn't Google it for you.
Right. So I think that's why it really works well at what it does, is it doesn't have to work hard.
Yeah.
And so it's a little small bit. It's an assistant, if you will.
Yep.
To help you along. I've used it a bit. I've used it on some news articles and stuff to try to get some summary, mostly to see if like this is a news article I want to read, so I can get the summary before I really get into it. Because, hey, let's be real. People put clickbaity titles on things so you don't actually know what the article is, because that's what the title was supposed to be. Originally was a summary of
those clickbait articles deserve to be summarized.
Exactly. And so that's what that's supposed to be, is at least an indication of what you're going to be reading.
Yeah.
Whereas sometimes the summary gets a little bit more into the meat of the thing, and it's a little longer. It's probably a paragraph or two to give you an idea, and then from that you can know if it's worthwhile to read the whole thing or just not even waste your time.
Right.
I mean, that's the way I feel about it.
Yeah. And I think that's actually a good way to kind of approach this thing, is try before you buy kind of thing. But I have a secret. You can use Orbit to get around those paywalls. Like, whenever you read the 6th New York Times article or whatever, it's like, hey, we see you're enjoying the New York Times. Like, I wouldn't say I'm enjoying it, New York Times, but just right click your page, tell Orbit to summarize it, and bada bing, bada boom. Not somehow, it's a JavaScript weird shenanigans that New York Times is pulling. But I mean, it reads behind that and summarizes the article for you anyway. So you couldn't read the article even if you wanted to, unless you paid. But Orbit can summarize it for you. And, what's funny is that you can go in there and do that yourself. You can go remove the JavaScript stuff yourself to get around those things.
There's other tools for that.
Right. But, I mean, this is pretty nice. So
it's easy, yeah.
Yeah. So I do kind of find myself using it every now and then. I did it. I had it summarize a couple of our videos. But like, the reason that I would watch a video is not wholly for the content. Like the content, of course, yes, that's what drew me in the first place or whatever, but it's also the people that I'm watching. So like
that's fair. That I get that, yeah.
When I care about the subject or the host, speaker, person, thing that I'm looking at or whatever, when I care about any of that, at best I'll use it like you do, Dan, to kind of summarize. Do I even want to bother with this or not? And if I do, then we're going to watch the long form thing. We're going to read the whole article. We're going to watch the whole video, whatever it is. So Orbit is more like the demo, and then it helps me figure out whether or not I want to dive in and actually do the whole thing. So it's really, really good at that. I like that a lot, actually.
Yeah, I mean, it might help you just prioritize the videos you're going to watch, right? Because, like, I know I want to watch Dan and Leo, but I mean, maybe I want to watch, this other thing first because it's a little more interesting to me. And then it might lead into something that Dan and Leo are going to talk about. So, I mean, it could help you with that.
Yeah, you just watch all the histories in order, and then you know the secret to the universe.
Yeah, I mean, when we get to episode 42...
Yeah, that is Linux user space dot show / YouTube, secret to the universe, right there.
Yep.
Who knew?
So there's one other thing that you did that was interesting to me.
Oh, yeah. I'm so glad you remembered.
You had it summarize something, and it was extremely helpful for you.
Yeah. Okay. So, full disclosure, I don't speak German. Not even a little bit. So there was a article about Seagate and how their refurbs were being sold as new. And at the time, I don't think there was any consensus on, was it Seagate's fault? Is it actually happening? Is it just an isolated, blah, blah, blah. So don't dogpile on Seagate unless we know the answer, in which case do dogpile on Seagate. But I don't have that right now. So I can't make that determination. So, hold.
Right.
But the article about that, because this was happening in Germany, the article about that was in German, obviously. And so when the page shows up, my mouse immediately goes up to my handy dandy Mozilla translator add-on.
Yep.
And before I click translate German to English, I'm like, but wait. Do you think Orbit can do this? And so I checked. And you better believe it did. That just blew me away. So
that's pretty cool. So you didn't have to translate the page to put it into Orbit to give you the summary. It just went right to the summary right there in English.
Exactly. So I'm going to be doing that a whole lot more.
That's handy.
Yeah, because the translators are like that one-to-one translator stuff. Like, it's good, but you're missing some context sometimes. And with the summary, you're missing context because it's an AI summary. So, whatever.
It's abbreviated.
That way you just get the information fire hose to the face and you're done. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So that was actually an unexpected feature of Orbit. So, I mean, using this in this way to kind of try before you buy for the most part, or in cases where I couldn't buy, right? I don't read German. It was a fantastic way for me to actually get the context of what was actually going on. I don't know that I'm a true believer, but man, it's useful.
That is handy. I think that's handy.
And I think that's kind of my that's always been kind of my litmus test for, will I continue using it? Like, is it useful to me? And yeah, it's actually really, really useful to me. So I'm not going to uninstall the add-on. It's going to stick.
Yep. I'm keeping it around.
Yeah. It's
right
really
now, the extension is currently available in English. So it gives you the summaries in English.
Right.
It would be, I hope, and it would be great if they do the reverse, right? They get it in other languages so that the non-English speaking people can do the same things that you did.
Yeah, think about that.
And summarize it in their native language.
That is an accessibility thing. right?
I mean, that's almost a Rosetta Stone. I mean, right?
Oh, okay. We got a babblefish. Is that what's
That
going
right?
on here?
Maybe.
You know
I
what's
think
funny is and Neil was poking at me for this one, but I always say, right, like email is just gonna event like professional email is gonna just end up being like ChatGPT writing an email, which you then send to somebody who then summarizes that email with ChatGPT and then sends you an email with ChatGPT that you then, right? So it's just this weird back and forth of AI chatter, and that's what all email, professional email is going to be.
I don't want it to turn into that.
I hope it doesn't. But I don't know, man. Like for something like this, there's some kind of utility into it. So
yeah, I mean, I think converting it to your native tongue,
right,
that's pretty huge.
Right, because it would have been inaccessible to you otherwise, outside of using a translator thing, which still doesn't even hit the mark, right?
Yeah.
So, in a case like that, yeah, why not? Just summarize it for me; it's fine. I'll be all right.
Yep. So pretty cool stuff. Yeah.
So one thing that I wish Orbit would do. Okay, because Orbit doesn't watch the video for you and summarize the actual video, it just uses the transcript to kind of guess and, because if what you're seeing on the screen is not what's in the transcript, it's wrong. So it is.
Well, listen, there's a lot of videos that don't have a lot of words spoken either.
Yeah, exactly. Like go to a music video and have it translate or have it summarize that for you. You'll be way off base, man. Like, where are the horses?
Yeah.
That's the real question.
Or you've seen those videos of Linux installations that just have the background music going.
Right. Oh, yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly.
Never going to summarize that.
It's just going to give you 2 musical notes. It's like, oh, thanks, Orbit. You're great. One thing that I don't know if this is in the works. I really hope that it is, though, or that something is in the works for this. Like, what I would like is the image thing. Like, if I can tell Orbit to look at an image and describe that image to me, because alt text is something that I go out of my way to do. Anytime I post an image anywhere, I go out of my way to write the alt text, because I know not everybody is able to view the image the way that I have posted it, right? So add a little flavor to it, and it's more accessible now. That's great. I wish that, because sometimes I really don't, I'm not a trained alt text guy. I'm just like, well, what do I see? Here's how I see the image. Here's what I notice in the order that I notice it.
Yeah. Are you missing detail sometimes? I mean, you wonder, right?
1,000%, right?
Probably are. Yeah.
And there's usually a point when I'm writing that alt text where I'm like, good enough, right?
Yeah.
It's good enough.
Well, you don't want to write a whole page about it.
You say that, but to someone that can't see the image, they might appreciate that. And
they might.
And
you do have some limitations there, though.
Right. And so there's this sliding scale of like, how much energy do I want to put into it versus, what do I want someone to get out of it?
Right.
Right. So what I would like, though, is let me just do an AI, look at this image, give me the text. I will fluff it up. And I think using it as an assistant like that, not as somebody smart, not as anything that has any real intelligence, but using it as a alley-oop would take my alt text writing to the next level, right?
Yeah, and it, if nothing else, it would help increase your confidence so that you were doing things correctly.
Exactly, right? So obviously these AI things get stuff wrong. So obviously it's gonna give me garbage when I tell it to look at an image, right? It's gonna do that. And in that case, I'll throw away the garbage and write it myself. And then we're back on that scale of that's good enough, right? But yeah, so, and this is how I'm looking at this stuff now. And I think this is what brings it into the wider conversation of not just Orbit, not just, a little model that you can put into LM Studio or something like that, but just kind of like how useful these things can actually be and what their limitations are. I'm using this as an assistant that I have 50-50 faith in, right? Like anything you tell me, I'm going to question because I've seen you talk about glue on pizza. I know that you don't continuously tell about glue on pizza, but I'm skeptical of the fix that you employed to get the glue off of the pizza. I'm very cynical in that way. I don't think Google actually fixed it. I just think they told their model to never talk about Elmer's glue in the same sentence as pizza.
Don't say that again.
Right. Like, they didn't fix it. They just put a Band-Aid on it and hoped nobody asked the exact right question to get glue on pizza again. And they've been lucky because that would have immediately been on the internet.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking at this thing as a... But
it's correctable.
Right.
I mean, it's...
And that's exactly my take on it. It's something that's going to give you a starting point that you can then refine into something that is both human and a good answer, according to me as a human, right? So yeah, man, I think they're useful. I for as much.
Yep, we just can't rely on it solely.
Correct.
We have to use it for the use that it's intended for.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep. And yeah, as a little assistant that I question often, I think it works great
and
for that
wouldn't
kind of
you
thing.
Anyway?
Right. I don't trust. See, here's the thing, right?
They're not the person in charge. They're your assistant.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, it is up to me. Like, if I'm posting something under my name or whatever, like, I'm gonna make sure, because I've got anxiety about. I have anxiety about posting stuff on the internet, right? Like, is this right? I better quadruple check it. So, like, there's no way I would let it just write a post for me or whatever, anything like that. But yeah, so I mean, I think it can be really useful. So do you kind of sit in that little groove of it's okay?
I do. I mean, it's not going to take over, right? I mean, that's fine. I don't. It's never going to.
The LLMs are not going to take over. Yes, I agree with you.
It's not going to be the thing. So I do. I agree. I think we use it for what it's worth, and double check the answers, but it can help aid you and speed things up.
Yeah. So this is the question that I've got.
Okay.
You say the LLMs. Well, you said it as in AI.
It.
All AI.
Well, I don't know what else to call it, but yeah.
Well, no, you're right. I think that's the it. It isn't it, right? Like it's not a person. Let's not give it too much thought. We're not giving it a whole actual pronouns. It's it.
It's not sentient
yet.
No.
Oh, see, now this is where this is going, man. Okay.
No, I don't. Not in my lifetime.
The LLMs aren't gonna take over. I agree, but people that look at AI and see it as much more than a 50-50 machine are gonna try and start using it for more than just a 50-50 machine.
I never said that people won't try it. I just don't think it'll be successful.
I guess it depends on your definition of success. So I don't know, man.
Fair.
We're talking about self-driving cars, right?
Yeah,
that are gonna be using some. You're right. Yeah, I'm not gonna turn that switch on and go to sleep. Absolutely not. That's too spoopy.
I mean, I get that it can keep you between two lines and at a consistent speed.
Yes. I've got some of those features on my car right now. I love them.
Yeah.
They're great. I get the rumble before I get the real rumble. And so only I know about that. So only I am aware that I'm drifting. So that's great. And like in it, I get the I've done the braking thing for people in front of me or whatever. Like there's this one cool feature that will just keep pace with the car in front of you. Yep. Even though your cruise control is set higher than it's fantastic. There's some really cool features, right? But yeah, the moment you flip that switch and it's full hands off, kind of that's what scares me. But
yeah, I'd rather not. Yeah,
these are the kinds of things that are going to be pushed more and more and more. And are the manufacturers of these things going to be okay with just saying, yeah, man, it's good enough. 85%, close enough.
They will be because it will sell. And that's the scary part.
Right. See, now I'm not talking about Terminator T2000s coming in mowing everybody down. I'm talking about AI is going to kill us because of these things, because of the creature comforts that we get comfortable with. And then you end up with, that train thing where it's like, well, one person on this train track, 10 people on that train track. What is AI going to choose? Oh, I don't know. So that's where it gets hairy for me. But I think these are in our lifetime.
We've been dreaming these things for a long time already.
Hallucinating?
40 years? No, I mean, think about the Night Industries 2000. Self-driving car.
Oh, yes.
KITT?
Okay. Yeah.
Remember that?
Yes.
Knight Rider?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
You've seen that show, right?
Yes, I have, and I want one still.
And guess what? That was pretty much what we're talking about.
Yeah. So
I just don't think we're there. I mean, that's 40 years ago, and we're going to be another 40 years before we get there.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you say that, but this stuff has a knack for accelerating.
Yeah.
I mean, we started with Siri, and there's a lot.
No, we started with Clippy, but...
Oh my God, this is just Clippy, isn't it? This is... What did you call it?
Clippy plus plus.
Clippy plus plus. That's exactly what this is.
That's where we're at. And so we're still a long ways away.
Clippy came a long way, though. Clippy's come a long way. I mean, actually, here's what I want Microsoft to do, is bring Clippy back and then just make it Copilot.
Why did they name it that?
I might actually use it if it was called Clippy. Now, I don't want to have to rename it myself.
I don't think Cortana was all that bad. She was pretty friendly.
Right. I thought Cortana was really cool. I mean, I think they got rid of her because you had to be kind of a Halo nerd to know who she was. But I don't think you needed to know who she was.
I think we're far enough along now. Yeah, I mean,
you didn't need to know who Cortana was but also Cortana's kind of hard to say. So
I guess
it's like Bixby.
Oh yeah.
Do you have a Bixby?
I don't, but I mean, I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Are you sure? I thought you had one of them Samsungs.
I do not. No, I have a Motorola.
Okay. Oh, yep. You're right. Absolutely right. I forgot who had a Samsung, but the old Bixby. That's too hard to say. I thought that was silly when they like Siri is easy to say, and I keep saying it. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it did. Wait.
I got the I don't want to say it. Jiminy.
Oh, got it. Yeah, that's right. So I don't know, but we've come a long way from there.
We have. It's coming, but I think we're going to be a bit.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. I think it's coming faster than you're thinking. I think.
Well, maybe.
Yeah.
Could be wrong.
I think 5 years, man. I think 5 years, and we're gonna have these.
All right.
The phone and her.
It'll be somewhere between 5 and 40. That's where we're at.
Okay, dude. You know what? It wouldn't surprise me if it was 2. Like if we had the phone from her in 2 years, like conversational at that level, and like getting into this weird parasocial relationship with a phone. Like I think we're closer than. I don't know. And then it's just an emotional fake to get you to do some weird away from.
I mean, I don't know.
Town.
I mean, it seems like a great way to get out of meetings. Maybe we could have them call us in the middle, and for the ones that we don't want to be at, and just say, "Oh, sorry, I got to take this call from Gemini."
I'm 1,000% fine with see this right here, just like. With using a local deepfake thing, this is me in the meeting, but it's not me at all.
Right.
I mean, if I control it, I'm okay. I'm all right with that. Just nod your head every now and then, right? It's AI. It can summarize what they're saying and then give a response. It could even talk for me, I bet.
Probably.
I wonder. Well, anyway, let us know if AI is going to take over the world in the next 24 hours or not. And are you using Orbit, some LLM, some anything? Do you use it in your day-to-day? Does it write your code? Does it start your code and then you adjust it as you go on, as you build more, as you do stuff? Or do you think that this entire script in this entire bit was written by AI?
Yeah,
it was.
Or do you think it's a big giant Ponzi scheme and it's just going to go away?
I don't think so. It is a Ponzi scheme, but I don't think it's going to go away.
Yeah. Anyway, you can catch all these and other great topics as they unfold on our Lemmy, and more about that soon. Our subreddit and our news channel on Discord. So you can catch all those great links at linuxuserspace.show/Lemmy, Reddit, Discord, all those things. And, we're on Mastodon, Telegram, Matrix, Twitch, Twitter, Blue Sky. I think we're on just about every social thing that's possible.
Yeah, we're out there. I mean, just type in Linux user space and in whatever app you use and hold your nose, press search, and we're probably there.
We probably are. So, yeah, go join us and, check them all out.
So we're stuck on Lemmy, a very specific version of Lemmy, because Lemmy is stuck on us.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
What happened?
Well, I tried to rip the Band-Aid off, but so I broke it.
Yeah.
And then I restored it a few times.
Yeah, you unbroke it.
Well, and then I thought the restore process wasn't working, so then I went to an older one, and I didn't think that worked, and then it turns out that it was working all the time, and the restore process was, and so I actually went back, and we only lost a few moments of time. And so you test your backups. That's one of the things, because if you don't test them, then do you really have a backup? And we did that.
Yeah, I was gonna say you tested your backup, you restored your backup. The backup actually worked. You just didn't check on the check of the backup.
Yeah, because whatever it is said that your restoration failed, and I'm like, okay, great.
It probably just failed, but writing metadata at the end or something.
I don't know. Maybe it was like the swap file or something that it couldn't write back. And I'm like, I don't know what it failed on. It didn't tell me what it failed. It just said it failed.
Yeah.
But it really didn't fail, because when I booted it up, it was there.
Well, you should have got AI to summarize the non-existent message, and maybe it would have hallucinated you the right answer.
Well, somebody hallucinated along the way, that's for sure, because it didn't actually fail.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So, anyway, so I did that, and that took a lot of time, because what I was trying to do was upgrade the application version. So the server that it's on, I continually update that, just like I do all of them, probably on a weekly basis.
Mm-hmm.
Never more than 2 weeks, probably, for the most part. So OS updates happen, so that's good and safe. But the application itself, it's lingering behind a little bit.
Just a little bit.
I don't know that there's a lot of features that we're missing, but probably some. So I did that. That took a lot of time, and then I, got discouraged and kind of gave up. So it is functional, sort of. It's just on an old version.
Mm-hmm. So, when do you think? Now, I'm not holding your feet to the fire or anything.
Yeah.
But when do you think you're going to give that another try?
Well, I'm feeling a little better about myself, and I think I have another method that potentially I could explore.
Okay.
So what, rather than, I think what I can do is maybe migrate it to a whole new instance, copy, get a dump of the database, copy that over, do the restoration on a whole new instance on the updated version that we want to be on.
Okay.
And so then let that whole thing just kind of, perk.
Okay.
In the import. I might try that just to see what happens.
What's the worst that could happen? You'd have to restore from backup. Oh no.
I'd be right back to where I was. So
we know the backups work, so
I do.
We're good to go, man.
And here's the thing: I knew we were like a few versions back, and so I was like, "Well, I don't want to jump all the way to the end because there's some changes that need to be made."
Right.
And so I only went to try to go to one version up, and I followed the instructions, but clearly I missed something because it did not start the Docker container after I got up to the next version.
It's gremlins,
and
man.
I don't know why. Like I followed the instructions.
Yeah, exactly. You everything is going great, and everything looks great, except for it said failed. And then everything's coming up, and it doesn't work, even though everything is right. Gremlins. It's always the gremlins.
And so I panicked. I didn't really look into the log files.
I don't blame you.
Probably as
that
deeply.
Kind of stuff just.
It's like, it's not working.
Yeah.
Oh man, now I got to get it back. Yeah. So
because it's all hands on deck, but the only hands you had were yours.
Yeah, I've only got 2.
Just both of them. That's it. Ah!
That's all I got. And so I don't know. I feel when I feel brave again, I'll try a couple different things and see where I get.
So Lemmy's still up. You can still sign up. You can still do all that stuff.
Still
However,
works.
remember, we only accept signups from people in the Patreon, right? Like if you're $1 or more, you get that. So
yeah, shoot us a message.
Yeah. I also wanted to talk about so we've got 3 places, 3 channels, communities, things.
We do.
Basically subreddits on our Lemmy. First being the episodes where you go to get the episodes, right? You want to keep track with that. The cool thing about Lemmy in general is that you can subscribe to Lemmy without having an account. You can just RSS it.
You can?
Right? Yep. So if
you're on another instance, you can subscribe to our stuff too.
Exactly. So I'm thinking like you like us enough to follow along, but you don't like us enough to subscribe to us on Lemmy. You just do the RSS. But if you do have an account, obviously you can just subscribe to the community and it'll be in your feed. But so we've got the episodes feed. Essentially, all the episodes are going to show up there. This episode will show up there as soon as it's out there.
Mm-hmm.
We also have the news, which is I have been neglecting Reddit, and if you are on Reddit, I'm so sorry.
I haven't been good either.
It's extra clicks. People on Reddit, please tell me, how do I take the links directly from Lemmy and then post them directly on Reddit, like without having to do clicks? Because I can do that from Lemmy to Discord because there's a RSS thing called Monito RSS, who I do need to throw some money at them. They're great.
Yeah, we totally should.
So it takes anything that I post on Lemmy goes directly into the Reddit news or Discord news channel. So like it's always there. It's great. It's easy.
It just shows up. Yep.
Yeah. So I only have to post it one place and it goes to 2. But if I could make that 3 and kind of reduce the load, and because I forget that we have a Reddit sometimes. So anyway,
I'm usually pretty good about getting the episodes over there, but it'd be nice if those just populated themselves too.
Exactly. So the news channel is great because the stuff that we're talking about, the Mozilla Orbit thing, showed up there. I don't think the HDHomerun thing showed up there, but that's actually something I want to fix. So if there's news on this show, it shows up in that news feed in Lemmy and sometimes in Reddit when I remember. But there's another community there that we use very rarely, and that's what I want to change. So news is for news, is for that the goings on, the happenings, anytime Gnome is like, hey, we did a thing, we post that, right? Anytime OMG Ubuntu or 9 to 5 Linux posts anything interesting, we're like, yep, that's going on there. LReg on there. TechDirt on there. Yeah, Phoronix on there. The Verge on there. It's great.
It's hard to keep up with Phoronix, but hey.
Oh my God, it's like 20 things an hour. I don't know. He's crazy.
I don't think he sleeps either.
Yeah, the caffeine probably helps. But so user space. It's just the community is called user space, and I want to take that phrase. I want to use that way more. But I've got a few articles that aren't news. They're opinion pieces. They're good questions a lot of times. Questions that I didn't come up with, obviously, but someone else did, and I want to talk about them. And I think that's what I want user space to be. There was an article on Ars Technica, and it was like, passkeys, are they really all they're made up to be, or something like that? And
that's a good one.
And it was basically a takedown of passkeys, which was in direct opposition to what I'm saying.
What we said,
do more passkeys. And like the cool thing is with passkeys, like stuff keeps asking me, do you want to just do a passkey? And I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. So that's
click,
great.
Done.
Yeah. So people haven't abandoned passkeys or anything like that, but apparently there's a good argument to be made about just abandoning it. And that's something that I want to talk about. But at the top of the show, we were talking, or maybe this isn't the pre-show. I think this is in the pre-show. I was asking folks, like, if we did deep dives in topics, those are the kinds of topics that I would like to deep dive into, not as a replacement for anything, but maybe as a replacement for some things.
But maybe it could be like the starter for some of the topics, right? Like we go over there, we get the topic, we get the thing published, have a little banter about it, and maybe we can bring that back into the show. Certainly the ones that are more popular. We want to talk about the things that you want to talk about. I mean, that's sort of the idea.
Right, because feedback feels detached sometimes, right? Like,
we do get it, and we do talk about it.
And I'm bad at replying to emails. But like, I think.
But we're the only ones that see it. Like, so, like, someone gives us feedback, it comes to us, and we see it, and then we talk about it on the show, maybe.
Right.
And then maybe it gets bantered about. But wouldn't it be nice if we all bantered about it before?
Exactly. That I think is, you said what I was saying in about 600 words, really good, really fast. That's what I mean. Having that conversation, having the wider conversation, having conversation with more than you to us to you, and that's it, is really kind of what I'm looking for and what I want to use that space for.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I want to put those on Reddit too. I'll probably just put a flare for it or something like that. But I like that in Lemmy, it's its own space. It's its own place where it, once you're in there, you kind of feel like this is where that conversation kind of happens. So anyway, if you haven't signed up on Lemmy, you didn't know this was just a big advertisement for our Lemmy. If you haven't signed up on our Lemmy or on our Reddit or something, go do that. Even if that's through Mastodon. Did you know you could do that? Oh, this is what I love about the Fediverse. Is that you got a Pixel Fed account? Cool. Use that to subscribe to our Lemmy or to individuals in our Lemmy, and then you can follow along with those conversations. You can even post. You can actually have the conversation on Pixel Fed to our Lemmy, and it's all, I like the Fediverse. It's really cool.
It's very
so go do that. Go sign up. Post your own things, man. Like if you think you've got a good opinion on something, or you found an article of someone that you think has a good opinion on something, post that there. You start the conversation. I think this is one of the things that I think could be cool about doing this kind of thing, is that this is really where you bringing up a topic could easily become something that we end up expanding on for a good 15, 20 minutes on the show or something like that. So anyway,
absolutely.
Let that be a cool community place. I'm going to try as best as I can to treat it as such, and see if we can't draw some folks in, have some cool conversations. So anyway, go sign up. Go check it out.
Yeah, go watch that space.
And lurk in the I know most of you, go lurk in the shadows and nod disgustedly at my opinions.
Hey, I mean, it's like Reddit. You can always upvote stuff. Or
that's right.
Exactly. Upvote, downvote things, and that'll let us know just popularity of whatever.
I think that can be more useful than even return comments sometimes, is that just kind of the overwhelming response of a particular opinion is really cool, right? Like, don't be bad. I mean, be excellent to each other. That's our only rule in all of our places.
You can always downvote it. I mean, that's not too bad.
But downvoting is not right. Like, it's not bad. It just means,
that's
this
not
is not
interesting. Yeah.
Right.
To you.
And that's a wider conversation. Upvote and downvote was never really meant for that. It was meant for, does this contribute to the conversation? Does it not contribute to the conversation? Right. Like, so even if you disagreed with someone, you were supposed to upvote them. Right.
Yes.
But that's not how it's used. It is, I agree with you, I disagree with you. that's
I'm okay with that. Like, if that's the way you want to use it, that's fine.
But it still benefits. It still benefits us. It still benefits the community, all that kind of stuff. So anyway, yeah, I've droned on and on and on about Lemmy. So go sign up.
Me too.
Check this out. Add your 2 cents. I think it's gonna shape up to be something really, really cool.
Yeah, and if you're looking for the links, they can be found at linuxuserspace.show.
Oh.
And if you want to email us, you can do that. contact@linuxuserspace.show. Or you can go over to, where the podcast is, linuxuserspace.show. And there's a contact us button that sends like an anonymous sort of thing.
Yeah.
But if you put your email in there, we can email you back.
Exactly. It's a feedback box. You can just drop it and walk away and never think about us ever again until your name comes up in the show.
Yeah, because it'll show up in our inbox and then we can talk about it.
That's right. Next time, we're going to come back around and do another batch of topics. So remember, we just came off of this weird impromptu, didn't mean to, crazy stuff happened in life,
Whoops,
and
sorry.
whatever break.
Yep.
So we're getting back up on that hobby horse. And so started easy with some cool topics. Hope we made you mad.
Hopefully you come back.
Yeah, well, yeah. No, come back just so you can argue with us. Do that
That's fine
in
too.
that's lemmy.linuxuserspace.show. But next time is going to be another topic show. So we're going to come back around, talk about a few more things. I know we do still have history coming. History of snaps is still on the docket. But yeah, just getting back into the routine of doing this is the focus, and topics tend to be a whole lot less effort. I don't want to say effort because like we
do put some effort into it.
Yeah, I put a lot of effort in summarizing pages over and over and over again with Orbit. So there's definitely a lot of effort. Less research. No, because it's I don't know what it is.
It's just it's not as time consuming, I suppose.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe that's
dedicated time. You know, yeah, like we talk about the things that we use, so it's a little easier.
Right. So anyway, so next time is going to be some topics. I don't know what they are yet, but remember that you can go to lemmy.linuxuserspace.show and you can actually submit them there. You can send us feedback if you want to hear about something on the show, or we can just kind of carry on a conversation if you've got feedback and that spurs on more questions. So make sure to get your feedback in. Do all of that kind of stuff between now and it's going to be like a week and a day or two by the time you're hearing this, unless you get early access. About a week. Yeah, about a week. So you got about a week to talk some trash to us, and we'll see if we can't add that to the show. But in between shows, catch us on all the places: the Blue Sky, the Mastodon, the Telegram, the Matrix, the Discord, the tweeters, all the it's everywhere. We talked about it before. Just search us up. We're on the thing. Give us suggestions. Join the conversation. Talk to us. Give us more ideas. All the links for this show and all the shows in the show notes on linuxuserspace.show. So, Dan, where can people find you out there on the interwebs?
Probably the best place is at KC2BEZ at mastodon.social on the Mastodon. Also on the Blue Sky, that's Monetary Abyss over there.
That's right. Oh, have you done the thing, the URL thing?
I haven't.
That's
did,
something.
Though.
Yeah. Well, okay. So where can we find me? I'm at Leo Chavez at mastodon.social, but on Blue Sky, I'm at leochavez.org.
Okay.
See, I get to hawk the website and my handle at the same time. So that's kind of cool about the AT protocol. And the show, you can find it at Linux User Space at mastodon.social. But on the Blue Skies, it's at linuxuserspace.show. It's actually really easy to do with a text record. Crazy easy.
It's pretty neat.
Yeah. So come back in 2 weeks for more Linux User Space.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
I wish you could move the little thing over to the left-hand side of the screen.
What do you mean?
The orbit. The little circle thing. Like you can't move it over there. You can only move it up and down.
That's your criticism of Orbit?
That's my biggest beef.
It's a user experience thing.
I can't move it over there. I can only, it's got to stay over
here. Not the glue on pizza.
Nah.
It's because I can't read about the glue on the left.
Yeah, I want the button on the left.
Okay. Valid. So I'll let you have that one. Half a dozen in a bird's hand and a dozen in the bush or something.
Something. Soup's on the stove or something. Yeah.
Yep, that's it. Too many soups in the kitchen.